I know, it's live. All right. We're back.
Live for the last time.
Live. We'll try it one more time. I could even fucking get it to, I don't know. We switched out laptops.
We're starting over.
If anybody was on the live stream before, sorry. Got cut off. We'll go ahead. We'll start again. We only did like 4 records or something. So if it cuts off this time, we'll probably just cut it. We'll do a video or something.
Save it for another day or whatever.
Can't talk about the same records 18 times.
True enough. All right, starting out with Broken Bones this time, switching it up on you, Bone Crusher. Seeing Through My Eyes, Decapitated, Death is Imminent. Couple fucking good tracks off there to name. You got the War Chief rolling in with his tribe there. They're going for battle. Don't fuck with them. The badass album, man. Can't fuck with it.
Yeah, it's a great record. Definitely like more of a DB record for me as far as like, it's one of my favorite records, so don't get me wrong, but it just didn't make my list just because I don't have enough space for 10, for 11, I guess. But it would definitely make my space if it wasn't.
It was a hard list to
definitely
make.
In my top 20. But stuff that like teetered on like
It's very punky.
DB or hardcore, I kind of left off my list, like Sacrilege and stuff like that. But I love that record, Bone Crusher. All the songs on it, fucking rip, man. Such a great record. That and Dem Bones is a great record.
Dem Bones is sick. Civil War, I love that song.
All right, number 10, I'm going with Suicidal Tendencies. What's up? We got How Will I Laugh Tomorrow? If I can't even smile today, I just can't do it. But yeah,
classic album,
great record. And again, for me, this record was like a transition from their first album to Join the Army, which was a little. They wanted to make that transition to metal, but I kind of felt like they didn't really know how to do it. They just didn't have the players. But with Rocky and what's the other guy's name on here? Mike Clark. Those guys, I think those guys together, they just they're riff masters together. And I feel like this album was their height of their crossover period. Trip at the Brain, Hearing Voices, Pleasure, Things Back, the song's sick. Surf and Slam.
The Miracle. That's my jam.
Great song. Fucking badass record. So good, man. Yeah, dude. Oh,
I'm gonna have to go with my Suicidal next. Oh, there's another fucking.
Sorry, we've been drinking and now.
Plastic on there. Suicidal Tendencies, Join the Army. Going with my Suicidal next. You got Suicidal Maniac, Join the Army, War Inside My Head, Possessed Escape. Some sick tracks on here. It's a lot more thrashy than the album he was showing. It's got a little bit of a metal edge to it. Got this dope ass art on the fucking back cover of it.
Yeah. Great record, man. War Inside My Head's a fucking jam.
That's my Suicidal pick.
I think they still play that live, like
always.
They always play that live.
They might play Trip at the Brain though too. It's a very similar song in that, as in like lyrics and everything, even like the structure of the song.
Yeah, I can see that. I just think the production's just a little bit different. But definitely a great record. My number 9, going with Cryptic Slaughter, Money Talks. People listen. It's just Money Talks.
That's a good ass album on my top 10 as well.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have Cryptic Slaughter on your list, right? If you don't have Cryptic Slaughter, it's not a crossover list. These dudes were from, where were they from? Like Oregon? I want to say they were from Oregon. I might be wrong. I want to say they're like a Seattle or Oregon, somewhere around there. It's recorded in LA, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're a California band. I don't remember. They're not Venice.
Does it say on there?
Oh, but I thought. Where's that say?
Wilshire Boulevard.
Oh, that's Metal Blade.
Monica, California. Santa Monica, California.
Santa Monica. There you go. I guess they were from the fucking south coast or South California, SoCal, as they call it. Yeah, great fucking record. I like Convicted a lot too. Don't get me wrong. Great fucking record, dude.
Yeah, Convicted's really good, but I feel like this one has a lot more rhythm to it. And just in general, I feel like there's a little more catchy riffs.
And as we start going on, I've got Convicted in here. I had to pick two records from the two records, and I could have picked Stream of Consciousness too. Yeah. I just felt like from their demo, which was Rain and Pain, I believe, and then it goes to Convicted. I think Rain and Pain is almost was more thrash metal for some reason. Then they went more punk on Convicted. Kind of had some blast beats in there. It's weird how Cryptic Slaughter always plays when I pull this record up. But yeah, dude. But definitely check this one out if you haven't heard it. If you like,
if you haven't heard that, come on.
Then yeah. All right, what do we got next?
All right, we're gonna go with the Rich Kids on LSD.
RKL.
Fucking Think Positive. What the fuck is the name of the album? Goddamn, I keep forgetting it now. Keep Laughing is the name of the album. There's 2 albums on this vinyl, so it's hard for me to remember at times because it's got Beautiful Feeling and Keep Laughing, but Keep Laughing is a little bit better than Beautiful Feeling. These are their only 2 fucking crossover records. They then went with more like a rock kind of punk crossover sound, which is totally kind of like Offspring type of sound that they had after that, which it's not bad, but it's totally different.
Yeah, that RKL. I love that record. I mean, for me, it's more of a punk record. I don't hear a lot of crossover in it, but I definitely could hear some. I can definitely tell that
it's a lot faster than most punk records for sure. The same thing I could say applies for like D.R.I. Dealing with It. It's got a similar sound to that album.
Yeah. And I know like people are like, oh dude, like Dealing with It's not a punk album. I mean, not a crossover record.
It's just so fast and aggressive, it can't be considered punk.
I mean, what you think. I mean, it's all up to like the listener, right?
True.
So
true enough.
I'm gonna go with what are we on? 8, 7. COC Animosity. Got some classic Pushead cover art here with Animosity. Such a great fucking record, dude. Lost Rewards, Mad World, Consume. Here, fuck man. Hungry Child. Just a fucking great fucking banger, man. Love this record. There's the back.
COC kills.
I actually got to see him on this tour.
I like Eye for an Eye a lot too.
Yeah.
I have that record.
Eye for an Eye is a great record. I love both those records. This one just,
unfortunately.
Yeah, this one just went a little bit more metal. I think they were like pretty much into Sabbath and Slayer at the time, and they just kind of transformed. I know they went into like a stoner band, I guess.
Right.
Which is cool, but I didn't
really get into the stoner albums for them.
I don't really listen
for a lot of the bands.
I mean,
and I am a big stone too. Smoking weed right now.
Can't say that on the channel.
Yeah, you can. You won't get demonetized.
I'm not monetizing this.
Weed is legal. Oh, well, weed is legal here.
Anyways.
Get with the times everywhere else.
But anyways, yeah, great record. Eye for an Eye is a badass record too. But yeah, this one, so good, dude. All right, you got something else?
Yeah, I think I got. What do we got? Nope. I think that was everything. Did I already do XL on this one? All right. Last one for me is the XL, The Joke's on You. This is a badass album. My favorite from XL. Split Image is a very, very, very close contester. It is, I mean, I could almost say they're about the same, how much I like them. This one, it has a gatefold. What's on the inside? Oh, you got the fucking band members chilling out right there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This one's got a different cover than the original one. This is like a repress. Got some cool shit on there. Sick ass songs like Shadow Winds, Tapping into the Emotional Void, Seeing Insane, Blaze Some 8. Shit's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like how
that album.
Blaze some hates on there. I love that record. It grew on me definitely from Split Image to that. Like, definitely different records. They're those songs on Jokes on You are way more complex than on Split Image, but great stuff. And what was the song? Was it Shadow Winds that they always say that?
Shadow Winds is sick. That's probably my favorite track.
They always
on
say
the album.
that like Inner Sandman is like they ripped off.
Oh no, that's tapping into the emotional void.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the intro to that track is
always
totally
say that's Inner Sandman.
I think it is, honestly.
I can't see Metallica sitting around listening to Excel.
I think they ripped that riff. It's pretty hard to say they didn't. Right. It's the exact same riff.
It's the same riff.
Leave it in the comments, fellas.
I mean, it might be, but I don't know. Up next, I got Attitude Adjustment, American Paranoia. Man, American Paranoia, such a great record. These dudes were from the Bay Area. Great album cover there. Yeah, and this has such great songs on it. Andy Anderson on vocals with Grey World, Dope Fiend. Like every song on there, I'm not going to name them all off, but they're all badass. Bombs, Warfare.
Yeah, Warfear's good.
Man, such a great album.
Yeah, I really love that album too. That is also on my top 10 list.
Yeah. And these guys don't get enough credit. You never see anybody talking about that.
Dead Serious. That's a fucking good song. It's like 50 seconds of pure fucking just shredding, man.
Yeah, then you got
Johnny. Yeah, I love that track. Bunch of good fucking tracks on that album.
And then this was also pre-Metallica because Johnny is based on the book Johnny Got His Gun, which was what one was based on. So, no, man, you got to wonder. These guys listen to some crossover?
Thinking so.
Who knows? It's just kind of interesting that they already had a song. And here's the kicker on that shit is that the Attitude Adjustment had a shirt that had the cover of Johnny Got His Gun on their shirts. So, so there you go. Up next, one of my favorite fucking records, man.
Here it goes, man.
Here it goes.
Widespread Bloodshed.
No
that
mercy.
fucking album rules.
Yeah, man. There's a back, and this is on what? Suicidal Records. Yep, Suicidal Records. I know they re-released this. I have a picture of this too in the cassette. But fucking just a banger of a record, dude. If you like Suicidal Tendencies, I mean, they've re-recorded every song on this for like a bunch of Suicidal records. They were all
true.
Especially
they all sound better on this album, though.
Yeah, especially on what was that one? The EP that Suicidal did. I can't remember the name, but almost a bunch of them were just No Mercy songs they redid. I know for sure Waking the Dead was on there. It's such a great song too, dude. But yeah, Mike Clark, dude, that shit. Mike Clark's that dude can jam. So that's why when I got him in Suicidal, I knew like that shit was that dude's a riff master, man.
Shredding.
Yeah, but one of the best crossover records. Might be better than any Suicidal Tendencies record.
I could almost say that too, honestly.
It might be better.
It's hard to say though, because Suicidal got that rep. Suicidal's put out so many albums, and No Mercy's got the one fucking legendary.
Yeah. But
and that album cover's sick. You got to get that close for them.
And I get it too. This is not going to be for everyone that likes Suicidal, because Suicidal has more melodic and they have more like funky stuff, I guess. Whereas this is just straight up in your face fucking riffs and just ripping fucking crossover. Whereas a lot of like the Suicidal fans might be like, it's too much. Like, whereas you have like a Suicidal record where it's more varied with slower songs. This one's just goes for the throw, but man, this shit rules. And I don't think Mike Muir was the original singer in this band. I've heard some of the demos too, which are cool, but yeah, man, this shit rules. All right, up next, where are we at? We're on number 6. The Accüsed. More fun than an open casket funeral. What's such a great name?
Fucking great.
Look at that
album.
fucking neon green sticker.
Cover, great album.
Martha Splatterhead. Yeah, dude. Such a great record. Love this shit. And then all the Accüsed records, in my opinion, are like really good.
Yeah, Accused is very unique as a band, and that's like, this is like the definitive crossover album that they have, but a lot of their shit is kind of out there, you know what I mean? Not like out there as in like it's bad, but like genre wise, it's hard to say what it is really. They're kind of all over the place a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But this album really fucking hones in on it.
This album to me is more, this has just more of a serious tone to it. It just is all the way through. It just sounds like just a really thought out record. I like all their records, but this one to me, it comes out like just more straight, like in your face. Just a banger of a record.
Absolutely. On my top 10 as well.
All right. And then we got Excel Split Image. There it is. Such great artwork, man. We talked about
it. That Davy Jones. It's like a pirate. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what this is.
It is pretty sick. It's good artwork, but I don't know what it is.
It's the Joker holding cards. I think he's mutated out of a ectoplasm. But yeah, this artist was like a surreal artist, and I need to find his name, dude, because like we talk about this guy all the time, and nobody knows his name. We're just like, hey,
that art's sick.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, but just a great record. Still got the fucking Tower Records sticker there. But yeah, dude. Jeez, man. I can't even talk about this record without like, this is Split Image, Insecurity, Jokes on You, Spare the Pain, just awesome shit. It's a little dated as far as the lyrics go. Like when he talks about having to work in retail and stuff like that. Obviously, he's an old man now. But
yeah, there's still probably kids out there that relate to that retail song, man.
I mean, it does make sense about inventory and stuff like that. And there's the
the fucking logo, sick. The mascot
record cover for the second album, pretty much.
Yeah, you missed that on my cover.
Yeah, that's not on, but that's weird how that like they didn't really do much for like the second album cover. They just
no, but I think Split Image, it's like Jokes on You and Split Image, they're just as good as the other for me, pretty much. It's really hard to choose a favorite.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like they're different in a very slight sense. One of them is a little more little thrashier than the other. I think Split Image is a little bit thrashier than Jokes on You, but Jokes on You has a little bit better songwriting.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's more mature. I think Split Image is a better crossover album, in my opinion, whereas Jokes on You is more of a thrash metal record, but still has that attitude. My number 3 is going with D.R.I, Dealing with
There it is, my number 1.
That's your number 1. My number 3. And I know a lot of people are going to say this is not a crossover album, but it is a crossover album. I mean, you got Nursing Home Blues, and that's just Argument, then War.
The aggression and the speed push this album way beyond punk. Punk doesn't ever go that fast, or that just not something punk does.
Right. And compared to their first record, this is way more metal, I guess you would say.
Right. And even the first record, I mean, it's just not punk. Typical punk albums just don't go, they're not that fast and that heavy.
Yeah.
It's a different style.
Yeah. But every song on here fucking rules.
And it is different than most crossover albums in that sense. It is quicker, actually.
Yeah.
So it's almost got a grindcore touch to it, how fast it is.
These dudes were like on the tip there of the grindcore era as far as blast beats go, starting that for the time. And then, Napalm came out. Obviously, you had Siege and those bands doing their shit too. So, but yeah, D.R.I, man. And these dudes are from Texas, right? Yeah, Texas. And then they moved to San Francisco at some point. I used to play like every week in the Bay Area. All right. My number 2 English Dogs.
Oh,
One of the
that'd
best.
probably be my number 2 as well.
Such a great fucking record. A UK punk band. So their first couple albums, Invasion of the Porky Men and
Yeah, Invasion of the Porky Men's a real punky album compared to this.
then they had another
Did they have a different vocalist on that album?
I'm not too sure if they did.
Sounded real different, the vocalist.
I don't know. Was there a different vocalist? Maybe in the comments.
Forward into Battle is one of my favorite albums, but it's not very crossover. I gotta say, that's on my favorite thrash metal albums.
What?
Forward into Battle.
This is Forward into Battle.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of fucking.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
You're thinking of the other Where Legend Began.
Where Legend
I'm
Began.
sorry.
That one, yeah.
I
That
called
one's
you out for no reason, my man. I'm sorry.
that one's
Full thrash album.
yeah. The other one.
Forward into Battle
Lord
is a
of the
thrash
Dragon.
album. Yeah.
I can't remember.
My bad, homie.
Yeah, but this one's definitely crossover. And I thought it had like guys from Broken Bones, maybe, if I recall, but Final Conquest, Ultimate Sacrifice, man, that shit rips. Nosferatu, 5 Days to Death.
Nosferatu's a fucking sick ass song. 5 Days to Death. Wow, what's the fucking track I like on there? Wall of Steel. Wall of Steel. Fucking sick.
And I bought this on a whim. I remember I was a kid. I don't know.
The album cover would probably
Recognize
sell you on
price
that.
tag. I think that's like Music Land or something. And I was in LA with my mom, and we were visiting somebody, and I saw this record, and I was like, I'm gonna grab that. I remember looking at this cover. It's a Boris Vallejo cover. I remember looking at this cover all the way home on the airplane ride. Like, man, this better be good. Like, because I had no idea who this band is, but yeah, but shit ruled. All right, my number 1. I mean, it's not hard to guess, right? S.O.D, Stormtroopers of Death, Speak English or Die. Obviously, a big game changer in the crossover genre, I guess. This was the band that made crossover. There wasn't really crossover before this. I mean, there was bands like Discharge and Broken Bones and, you know, that UK stuff that was like on the verge of crossover. But this is the album.
Speak English or Die, though, I feel like it is more of a thrash album than anything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not trying to discount your opinion of it, as it is your number 1. So take that
I mean, it
with
could,
a grain of salt,
yeah,
but
and I mean, I get that.
it's super thrashy.
It's thrashy, but it's like it has Billy Milano's vocals, which are not thrashy, and it basically took punk, which was Billy Milano, and it took metal, which was Anthrax.
Right.
And Dan Loeffler, we can just consider him Anthrax too, and put them together, and then it's better than any Anthrax album. So there you go. Fistful of Metal is a pretty good record. But
Fistful of Metal's great. I love that record.
But, you know, there's big controversy as far as the lyrics go with Billy Milano. Just a basic, like...
Billy Milano's always been a joker, though. You can't take anything that guy fucking says seriously.
Yeah, it's kind of a dipshit. But, you know, he's
I
obviously...
fucking love this album, though.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like...
For not making my list on the thrash or fucking crossover, it's hard to say, but, I mean, it is one of my... It's up there on my all-time favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, see this guy right here. There's a different English Dogs with different members, and I think that's the punk English Dogs. And
okay, is that like the one that did Invasion of the Porky Men?
Yeah, and I think those guys, they still
see, because that one sounds way, way different. The vocalist sounds way different.
They function as a band, and then
but they have the same logo, which is
and then English Dogs, like the metal version, functions as a separate band too, and they put out records. All right, now we're just going into like I have a stack of records here. We're just going to talk about.
We got the honorable mentions. We
Honorable
got a big
mention.
stack.
Exploited, Death Before Dishonor.
Fucking great album.
Great record, dude. This is when Exploited definitely decided we're gonna turn metal, and I mean not turn metal, but they definitely went crossover on that, dude. This record, this is an angry record. I don't think I've heard an angrier exploited record. Massacre is another one they did after this, which is great, but this one, this one's just pissed off, man. If I had to like pick a record that's a pissed off crossover record, it's this one. They were definitely out for blood on this record. And it just has its fucking gnarly ass riffs, and the production is sick. They're on,
always puts out good
and it
stuff.
was like weird too. I think Combat Core was that at the time, but this is like on Rough Justice and Combat.
Huh.
So it's not on Combat Core.
That's a weird one.
Yeah, but it's on Rough Justice. Maybe this was their precursor to Combat Core. I don't know. But yeah, that one. As far as want beer,
Yeah.
please. I think that one is where they definitely super. What's that? Scaling the. Yeah, man. Such a fucking badass record. Up next, I have
Gangrene.
You Got It. This is a great fucking crossover record. And these dudes, this is auction. You know, this is when skateboarding and crossover really went together.
Yeah.
And this was like a skate punk band, and then they went kind of like Aggression. I would say Aggression's a skate punk band as well. But this,
for sure, yeah.
and I know these, I think these dudes were actually sponsored by Budweiser at some point. I don't know how they scored that deal. I mean, this is on
Aggression is fucking sick.
Aggression's good. But this album definitely has a super punk attitude to it, but it definitely has some metal riffs in there. Such a fucking great record. If you haven't heard Gangrene. And their first album's more punk
Right.
side.
It's a pretty fucking good album though too.
Yeah. But this next one was one of my favorite records, so
Get ready.
yeah. But it didn't make my list.
Almost did. I kind of had to talk him out of it, honestly. BA rocks your liver.
Oh man, I love this record, man. Another Bay Area crossover band. BA rocks your liver. They're all rats in the photo. I mean, you can't get any more crossover than being a rat. Like draw make us rats, dude. Like, man, this is such a great record. Like, look at the guy jumping, dude. That's how you know you had a good show. And I saw these guys a couple times. Such a great band. VA Rocks Your Liver, Metal Melissa the Pissa, Vengeance. Oh man, Rat Pack, Chase. Man, this is shit. And again, this is another band that was like a punk band. I think their first album's punk. Then they went crossover, and then they went more into a rock style on their next records. This was like the in between punk and rock, and just a great record. If you guys haven't heard this one, great stuff. Right along with Attitude Adjustment, as far as bands that don't get mentioned enough in the crossover world. All right, I'll let you talk about this one.
All right, we're pulling out the Crumbsuckers. Life of Dreams.
Gotta get some Crumbsuckers in there.
Fucking A. You might argue it's a hardcore album, but I would say the solos might tell you different. I almost put this on my top 10 list. It's not quite on my top 10, but it's almost there.
Yeah.
This fucking album shreds, man. You got fucking some sick ass songs on there. You got Schitt's Creek, man. That's one of the fucking dopest.
Yeah.
I mean, that fucking artwork is sick, too.
Yeah. Sean Taggart art.
Sean Taggart always puts some sick ass art, and it's really got the art gives it almost a punk vibe, but it's not a very punky album, in my opinion.
No, I definitely think it does have a New York hardcore edge to it.
Totally.
But I can hear the metal too. And I think on their next record they went way more metal. What is that? Beast on My Back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Trapped. Oh man, dude, these songs on there, Dreams, Bullshit Society.
Life.
I just felt like this is a great record. It just, to me, it's more of a hardcore record. And I try to stay away, like I said, from hardcore and more thrash metal stuff. I try to like make my list more just the mix. But yeah, this is fucking great. Great video, man.
Oh man, we got all sorts of comments for the Crumbsuckers. I can.
Yeah. See, New York hardcore scene. It was approved because I think they were part of the scene, and I don't know the history of Crumbsuckers. I don't even know if they had a demo. Yeah, Trapped, dude.
Trapped is a fucking badass track.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and then the same thing with this record. And again, we're going with the same artist, but Agnostic front. Cause for Alarm. More Sean Taggart art.
Taggart.
Yeah. Again, it just...
That art, it really sells it as a punk album.
It does. So, I mean, going into the record store, you're like, hey, I don't know. But yeah, dude, when you start
An Agnostic front becoming the hardcore band that they did, this album is completely different than anything that they ever put out.
Yeah. Yeah, when you hear that double bass on Eliminator, you're like, oh shit. This is definitely different than the first record. But I mean, if you look at the guys, they're still in that hardcore mode. And, it is hardcore. I'm not going to say it. I mean, but I'm going to consider this. I think after this album,
they're a hardcore band, but I consider that a crossover album.
Oh, Mark says Louis from Carnivore's on the drums on this. Okay.
Is he?
It doesn't, I mean, if
what the hell? It doesn't even say the drums on there?
Yeah, it is Louis.
Oh, it is.
He didn't even
Louis
get credit.
Vito.
He didn't get credit. Yeah, but yeah, just a banger of a record, and you can say it's hardcore, you can say it's crossover. I'm gonna go with crossover, but
I would say it's a crossover album from a hardcore band, which is weird enough.
All right, here's kind of a little bit of a underdog, man, dude. This shit rules. Not as good as the EP, but man, if you want to hear a crossover record that goes for the throat, obviously this has Tom Araya's brother, John Araya, in it. So it's like a mix of Slayer and D.R.I. To me, this sounds like Slayer and D.R.I. Just fucking goes through the throat, dude. Harassment by farm animals, death by a clothes hanger.
What come fucking rips? That shit is hard.
It is hard. Belligerent Youth, Son of Sam's a sick song. Live to Kill's a badass song. Treatment of Death, Happily Married.
I mean, even the name just gives it away. It's gonna be hard.
But yeah, check that one out. That's an underrated banger in my opinion.
And we got Ludichrist. Ludichrist.
So we got this Ludichrist from, these guys are from New York too, right? Yeah. And again, another one you don't really hear too much about. And this is a great crossover record. Fire at the Firehouse. Most People Are Dicks. Murder, Bloody Murder. Games Once Played's a great song. Legal Murder. And, really good political crossover from New York. Definitely metal dudes. You can definitely hear the metal in this shit. And such a fucking banger of a record. On Combat Core. Oh, wait. This guy says not as good as their second album?
I would have to disagree. I like that album more than Power Trip.
I grabbed Power Trip too, dude, because I love Power Trip. I think the first album's better than this. I like the riffs on this record better. And it's not as goofy. The first album's not as goofy as this one. Like, what's that one song where they had the video for? This Party Sucks. That song's kind of cheesy.
Sure.
But it's a good song. But this one, man, this is a good record. I don't think this one gets enough plays. Like nobody.
No, for sure. For a band being named after this album, if you've ever heard of Power Trip, the band.
Yeah. What band is that?
Power Trip. You've never heard of Power Trip? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's when they're like, oh yeah, the best new thrash metal band, Power Trip. Sorry, fucking around. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Power Trip did get their name from this record. It's possible.
I mean, I think there's definitely an influence there for the name.
Yeah.
Close to the genre.
Which is weird because the whole time heard of the band Power Trip. I never put two and two together till right
Really?
now.
I did.
No. I mean, it makes sense, I guess. Yeah, Power Trip was a cool band, I guess.
I like Power Trip. Rest in peace to the vocalist.
Yeah. All right, up next. I mean, we kind of talked about this record already, but
Yes, you're gonna talk about Convicted right now?
Yeah.
All right.
Convicted.
Great fucking album.
Yeah.
Shreds, man. Almost incoherent how fast it is. It's like grindcore mixed with crossover, I feel like.
Yeah.
Similar to how D.R.I. is in a sense.
Yeah.
But I think these guys are a little bit harder. Like the delivery. I don't know. The vocalist is a little bit harder for sure.
Yeah, I think so. I think he kind of went. I think they had something to prove on this record, definitely. So they were just more. What do we got?
Proto blasts all over.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, we got some blast beats.
Obviously, Napalm Death
Definitely.
was influenced by this record. They did a cover of Low Life. So, I mean, you kind of know this and the next few albums. We're just getting into the origins of crossover here, pretty much with the rest of these records.
I mean, this one could go up with Money Talks. It's just hard to say. I mean, Money Talks is a little bit more well formulated. It's the only reason I picked it above this album. This album is more fast and in your fucking face. A lot of, like you said, proto blast beats in your fucking face.
And then we got some Cryptic Slaughter playing. All of a sudden, every time we pull up Cryptic Slaughter. All right. We got the some of the originators here.
ST.
OG, Suicidal Tendencies record.
ST.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. Can you imagine like being at one of these shows where all these dudes are wearing these homemade shirts? And I get it. They got banned from LA. They couldn't play in LA because they were considered gang members, which was crazy. They had
Serranos, they are. I gotta take a
all right. Yeah, and they had I don't know if they're Serranos?
They are.
I don't know about that. I mean, definitely they were considered like a gang. Their fans were definitely, and I could see that. I mean, if you look at like the artwork on there, I could see how like the Police and you know how people were in the early '80s. They were like, fuck, man, you know, like anything that like was a little bit, you know, what's the word, offensive or threatening, they would call the cops because, yeah, it's just you don't want that kind of stuff. And there was probably some violence there. I get it, but I know they had to play in the Bay Area all the time because they couldn't play in LA, which was weird. But I get it. They were banned from a lot of places to play. And I was talking to an older guy that was talking about Suicidal, and he was telling me, yeah, man, Suicidal used to play here all the time. And, you know, I used to play with Accüsed and all the Bay Area bands because they couldn't play in LA, which I never knew. I guess I was a little too young to see that. I never saw Suicidal. The story about this record, actually, I bought this at Warehouse Records, and I'd never heard the band before. I just bought it based on the cover. I think I was like 12 or 13 years old when I bought this record, and I just bought it because I think I had heard somebody say Suicidal Tendencies. Suicidal. And I was like, I'll just grab this, and then I really loved it. So yeah, it's just a great record. I mean, I get it. It's more based in punk as far as like crossover goes.
Their beginnings, though, as the band, I do love that fucking album.
Yeah.
Subliminal. That's a good song.
Yep.
Shot the Devil.
Yeah.
Saw Your Mommy.
Great. Subliminal is a great song, dude.
Yeah.
Possessed is a great
I Shot
song.
the Devil. I think that
I mean, that's like
Two-Sided Politics and I Shot the Devil. Those, I mean, fuck, there's some good-ass songs on that album. Great album.
Yeah, and I really like
Suicidal's got some fucking bangers, man, and it's hard to choose a favorite.
Yeah. Up next, we have the original D.R.I. record. Well, this is the EP 22
Dirty Rotten.
Dirty Rotten LP. man, I have a story on this record. I had this record when I think like one of my friends like in summer school showed me like D.R.I 14 or something, and I was like, fuck, man, like that's really good shit. I think it was the Violent Pacification EP that he had, and I found this record, and such a great record. Obviously more of a punk record,
Totally,
but it's definitely like the precursor to a lot of so crossover to everything that D.R.I is like.
Fucking Money Stinks, man. I fucking love that track. That shit stuck with me, and it's like a 30-second track.
Yeah, I mean, it's got really good.
It's good lyrics.
Good political lyrics on this.
For sure.
And that's a lot. I didn't bring that up, but a lot of things with the crossover records is they're mainly, I guess, fun records. There's a lot of like goofy stuff too. So, but this record I think is just a fucking landmark as far as speed goes. There was no bands that were this fast at the time. So this was, I mean, besides Discharge, I think Discharge and D.R.I and Motorhead put together, that created crossover in my opinion. Those three bands.
Discharge, Spear Pointed.
Yeah, those three bands put together, I mean, that was basically, that's crossover. Then you add in some fucking death metal and you got grindcore. But this album, I had actually traded this. I traded my copy to some guy in Canada for like Celtic Frost or something. Dumb move. And then I look at this bug. This thing's still in the shrink wrap. I got this at the flea market, dude. Guy had all these punk records, and this was in the stack, and they were all $2 each. And some guy picked it up, and I'm like, motherfucker, are you kidding me? He picked it up, and then he was walking around, and he set it down. As soon as he set it down, I fucking snatched it up and bought it ASAP. I mean, this was like 15, 20 years ago, but even then, I was like, this dude just dropped that. He was like, nah, I'm not going to grab that. And I was like, whoa, all right. I was so fucking stressed. I'm like, oh my God, he just fucking grabbed the D.R.I. But yeah, that's the story on this record. Great records. We'll get on to the next one.
Oh man.
We're in a little bit of a D.R.I. spot here. So, crossover. What do you think? All right. So I like 5-Year Plan. I like Redline.
I fucking love this whole album. Dad trips on this one.
You talk about this one.
He says I got to talk about this one because I actually like this album. He doesn't like it as much for some reason. This was actually the first D.R.I. album I listened to, so I might be a little bit biased actually. But dealing with it, I put above this album. This one though,
I used copy of Crossover had beer stains on the record. Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, fucking A Coffin, Probation, Decisions is probably my favorite track off this album. 5-Year Plan is really good. Hooked. I mean, there's not really a bad song on this album. Oblivion is really good too. The fucking great way to end the fucking album. As far as D.R.I. goes, I wouldn't have. I don't know if I'd have liked him as much if I heard fucking Dealing With It first. I mean, it's hard to say, but this is the first album I heard, and this is what introduced me to him, and it's called Crossover.
Yeah.
So it's gotta be up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great record.
It trademarked the fucking genre.
Yeah, I like that record. It's just I felt like they were at like a point where, kind of like how, or Crumbsuckers or bands like that or Suicidal were at a point where they were trying to play metal, but they didn't know how to transition very well, and that's how I felt Crossover was. I felt band, but they weren't really, but they wanted to try to like play better, and Crossover was the album that came over. And then we got a couple comments here about 4 of a Kind.
4 of a Kind's coming up next,
which is our next record, which is probably my favorite D.R.I. record, the Crossover era. besides Dealing With It. I go with Dealing With It, then Four of a Kind. I think this is like their best.
I like Four of a Kind a lot. I think I like Crossover better though.
Yeah, I think I like this one.
I do. Certain songs on make it a more impactful album. Decisions, particularly, is a very impactful song.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of impactful songs on Four of a Kind, but it was a very good crossover album.
Yeah. I like Manifest Destiny is a good song. Dead in a Ditch, Slumlord. This has like really great songs on it. I just think this is their best attempt, I think, at crossover, in my opinion. But I mean, anybody can be the judge on that. That's just my opinion. But
I still think Four of a Kind is really good, and it's almost up there with crossover. The quality of it, the fucking album cover doesn't sell you on it. Honestly, the album cover's pretty bad on Four of a Kind. Let me just bring it back up.
Yeah, it's not. It's kind of a weird.
It's just weird, yeah. It just doesn't really sell you on the album. It doesn't make you want to listen to it. It's like fucking. It is a really fucking great album, but it's hard to fucking say that's the fucking best album cover for it. You know what I mean?
All right, we got another one. This one not talked about enough. I'm going
Beyond Possession. BP.
And I believe these dudes were from LA as well.
And that album cover is fucking badass. I love the artwork on that album.
Well, these dudes are from Canada. Beyond Possession. Another great like skate crossover record.
I'll fucking rip my fucking skateboard to this shit.
Yeah.
My shit, man.
Yeah, this is a badass record. And the EP was Telltale Heart. But yeah, I think I like the EP a little bit more. But this one's badass too. And this was on Death Records. Another like, I think like all the labels try to do like a crossover label. You had Death, Combat Core, and you had that Rough Justice. But this was Metal Blade's version was on Death Records, and they had those Death comps too. But yeah, this shit fucking rolled. Such a good record, man. Up next, now we're going to Seattle, I think. No, these dudes are from Oregon. I forget where.
It's a very German name.
Yeah, but Shark Attack, you gotta love that cover, man. And the New Renaissance on top of everything, dude. Shit, New Renaissance was pretty much fucking awesome. And this was their first record, definitely way more like crossover thrash than like their second album. I think this was more thrashy. But
Totally.
Yeah, they were like into horror movies.
That one's way fucking shreddier.
This thing fucking rips, dude. No one talks about Wehrmacht. Nobody talks about these dudes. And Salem. What's that say?
Ground Zero, Salem. So when will you skate in the live stream again?
That's gonna be him, not me. I'll fucking break a hip. Oh yeah, here's the second one. Got some Biermächt. So this was a great record too. And these dudes, man, this album's sick, dude. Balance of Opinion. This shit rips. I mean, this is way better musicianship than the first record. I just think this album's way more mature than the first album, but
it is.
It's a toss up between the two. I
like the shreddiness of the other one.
Yeah, the other one's like I said, it's more thrash, and this one's more of a crossover jam. But I love this album.
I like the other album a little bit more for sure.
Yeah, and I go in between both albums. Sometimes I'm a Shark Attack guy. Sometimes I'm a Biermächt guy. Both albums are fun albums. They're both
depends if he's drunk or not. So then he's a Biermächt guy.
I mean, it just depends. Could be. I mean, I like that one song where they talk about all the beers on this too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Is that Biermächt?
Uh-huh.
and they just like name off every fucking beer. It's pretty fun. And then they went on to do that other band, Spastic Blur, which was kind of a fun band too. Kind of a proto grind type of weird. All right, we got some more controversial stuff here.
Oh yeah, here we go with the M.O.D.
We got M.O.D, Method of Destruction. So I mean, you got the goofy lyrics here, which are bordering on tastelessness from Billy Milano. He's just trying to like stop pot, man. I mean, this guy was kind of a renegade as far as like knowing how to like make bad press good press. I think he's kind of a dipshit, but he kind of knew how to make things popular.
And man, do I gotta break out my gross misconduct too? That's a good album too. I love M.O.D.
I mean, I like
hilarious,
the
man.
fucking
They're
riffs on
fucking
it.
funny.
Yeah, the rhythm of that shit. Yeah, bubble butt, bubble butt, bubble butt. She's so
Fucking
fat.
hella funny, man.
The thing was, I saw them play maybe like 10 years ago, and they did a split set, and Billy Milano was like, we're going to do half set S.O.D, half set M.O.D. But he's singing these lyrics, and he knows, man, because like before he plays the song, he's like, all right, this song is, aren't you hungry? These lyrics are fucking stupid. He's just like laughing, like,
It's hella funny,
like,
man.
oh, man, I wrote these stupid ass lyrics, but like he knows they're fucking lame. Like he's self-aware of what he's writing. So it's kind of what? Russian bootleg. Yep, kind of. I mean, you know the story that he stole riffs from that second S.O.D record for the Anthrax record. And then Scott Ian was all scared that, he was going to get his ass beat by Billy Milano. And so he produced this record. So Scott Ian actually produced this record, which a lot of people don't know, that he did have a big hand in this recording this record. And, Hate Tank, man, that song, fuck, probably one of the top 10 crossover songs of all time. That song just fucking kills, man. I love that song. Up next we have. So I was talking about mixing like up some genres. Let's do some like UK stuff, and so I'll bring in Discharge, and this. I think these guys were like the crossover. These guys like invented crossover to me.
Pretty much. They
had,
spearheaded the genre.
Yeah, I think if you listen to any Discharge, you can hear. And I brought two out. Two of the records I have that
I mean, there's a few punk bands that were in the mix.
Yeah, you had these two records that came out, and I think these were the records I feel like kind of started the whole crossover genre as far as mixing crunchy guitars with slower beats, but with still had a full punk attitude. Punk lyrics, obviously. The guys look completely punk on this. But I mean, if you take this and Sacrilege UK and GBH and fucking English Dogs, you kind of just had, Discharge and Motorhead. Like, I was saying before, those guys, you just mix all that stuff and you get crossover. And then you get some bands like Concrete Socks.
Yeah, Concrete Socks.
Which were another UK. And I think
almost more of a hardcore band.
Yeah. A hardcore, grindcore. I just felt like Concrete Socks were on that, especially on the split with Heresy. They had that riffy, fucking crunchy Metallica sound. That, crusty, dude. Where it was more of a crust thing, which you took DB, you took Motorhead, these guys probably took Metallica, Extreme Noise Terror, all those bands, and put them together and you get fucking Concrete Socks, man. These guys put out some great shit. Check them out. Up next, let's talk about this band. These dudes are from Australia.
Here we go. I just heard this today.
Condemned.
Badass album, actually. I was just listening to it.
A lot of people haven't heard this one, and this was, I think, 80. I don't see a date on here. It's on Reactor Records. I'm going to say probably like...
That gatefold is sick, too. Show them that. fucking shit on the left side for you guys. That shit's sick.
Yeah. And these dudes are from Australia. And yeah, just fucking awesome crossover, which I'm going to show you right now, turned into. So these guys mixed Attitude Adjustment and became Condemned Attitude. They took both names and made them Condemned Attitude. So if you heard any of the Attitude songs from Attitude Adjustment, they changed to Condemned Attitude. And then they just switched over to Attitude when they switched their names. So I brought those three out just to kind of put them together. I do have another Concrete Socks cassette here that I grabbed. Oops, sorry, Vicar.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great fucking record, dude. I don't think Concrete Socks gets enough love, man. Nobody talks about Concrete Socks.
Concrete Socks is hard.
Yeah. I really like the riffs on that stuff. I have a Condemned discography disc. Yeah, man, you gotta send that again, dude. That shit, that's good stuff. In this band, I believe these dudes were from Italy. No, Belgium. These guys are from Belgium. From '86, Excreta and Patronizing.
Okay, we were just listening to that too.
Yeah,
From Belgium.
Patronizing
That's cool.
the Hedorics.
That shit sounded pretty wicked. I actually like that album a lot. I just listened to it today as well. Same with that Condemned.
Yeah, this is really good fucking ripping from '86. Again, not a lot of people talk about this band.
It's pretty underground, so
Yeah.
I couldn't blame you. I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
But it's got some
sick
cool ass art too. Yeah, it's hard to diss. It's pretty dope.
Chord and Heresy were sick. Yeah, both those bands rule. Oh, this band, man. These dudes, I don't know where they're from. I want to say like definitely European, but this was a great fucking record. I'm pulling out some fucking unknowns now.
Yeah, I don't even know what this shit is. I mean, I'm gonna have to check it out after this fucking video. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This shit looks tight though. The fucking back art looks sick.
Yeah.
Shit's tight.
This shit rules. Check that out. I'm just kind of throwing some recommendations now.
There's another one I haven't heard of.
Clown Alley, Circus of
Clown Alley.
Circus of Chaos. These dudes are from the Bay Area. Man, this album's good. And it has two members that from the Melvins on it. I think two that played on a couple of records, but this is nothing like the Melvins. This is crossover shit, killer fucking shit. Check it out. All right, now we're getting in. You could talk about this one.
Nuclear Assault. I mean, I don't really think it's a crossover album. I don't even know. I don't even know why Dad brought it out. He just brought it out to argue with you guys.
I'm just saying, I don't know if it's a crossover record.
I don't think Nuclear Assault is a crossover band. Do you guys think it's a crossover band?
I think they're a thrash band.
I think they're a thrash band.
They have crossover elements.
Municipal Waste is heavily inspired by Nuclear Assault. They're almost crossover.
They're almost crossover.
This is the second heavy record he ever bought, but he doesn't say it's crossover. I don't know. Game Over. It's a great album. I got nothing fucking bad to say about it, but it's not a fucking crossover record.
Also, a couple guys from Sacrilege, BC. Really? I didn't know that. I mean,
I would say Sacrilege is more crossover than fucking Nuclear Assault.
Oh, Sacrilege, BC?
Yeah.
But I did. Yeah, I could see that.
Nuclear Assault, it inspired Municipal Waste, and everybody loves Municipal Waste as a crossover band, but they're more of a thrash band.
Yeah, I don't know. Municipal Waste are just a band that came out.
I almost put that on my list even, but it's like Municipal Waste is totally thrash.
Yeah,
It's hard to put that on a crossover list. It's not funky enough.
Definitely like more crossover. And then
I get it. Hazardous.
Yeah,
It's hard to put that on a crossover list. It's not funky enough.
Definitely like more crossover. And then
I get it. Hazardous Mutation's my favorite, and that's the first record, but it's thrash.
Yeah.
I couldn't put it on my crossover. Couldn't put Nuclear Assault either.
I mean, let's go back to this record because, I mean, you have songs like Betrayal. I mean, it has those crossover elements. This is a record that's not. I don't think you can classify this record. It's such a unique record. To me, this is Nuclear Assault were a unique band. They didn't sound like anyone else, and no one's ever sounded like them. It's almost like a voivod. There's never a band that sounds.
So that's actually very true. Municipal Waste may be inspired by Nuclear Assault, but they don't sound a fucking thing like them.
Right. Yeah, and I just
The
feel
lyrics and everything are inspired, but like the vocalist on Nuclear Assault has a totally different delivery than almost any other thrash metal vocalist.
Yeah, and it's almost like the lyrics are crossover. I get that. For the most, you have songs like Brain Death and stuff like that. Those are just. I just feel like this album is. It's not a genre definer. You can't put a genre on it. So you can say it's thrash. You can say it's crossover. Whatever. You can just say it's metal, and it's fine. Because this album fucking rules, dude. Basically, the first like 4 Nuclear Assault albums are really good. Is that 4 or 3? Yeah,
4.
Game Over, Survive, and what's the third one called? It's the one with the Earth.
Critical Mass.
Critical Mass?
That's the name of the song. What's the name of the album?
Out of Order.
Okay, yeah. The Plague though. The EP, really fucking good.
Yeah, The Plague is badass, but that's a fucking thrash metal.
Yeah, totally.
That's a thrash metal.
Totally.
All right, here's another one to talk about.
Beer.
All right, hold that. Talk about that.
All right, we got The Accused. Fucking badass album.
Martha Splatterhead.
Martha Splatterhead.
Yeah, this is the first one.
I like part 1 and part 2.
Return of Martha Splatterhead. This is the alternate cover. I don't have the original press, unfortunately. I think this is the Combat Core. What is it? Subcore? It's a different label?
I never heard of that.
Oh
Subcore?
my gosh, we're going on a different label now.
It's a weird one.
So it's
Probably only a few albums on Subcore.
this is Combat, but on the back it says Subcore. So I never noticed that before. But I guess this is their precursor to. I've said precursor like 3 times.
There's been a lot of There is a lot of precursors.
Combat Core, which is weird. I never noticed that. Yeah, right there. Subcore, if you guys can see that, which is weird. I never saw that before. And I don't remember what this album was on. Yeah, the original cover's way better, dude. I agree. This cover,
Yeah, I almost didn't recognize it. I had to look at the cover.
yeah,
I'm like, what's going on?
It's different. It's cool. I've never actually seen that one.
I mean, but this has like Wrong Side of the Grave on it, which is like one of the Accused best fucking songs. And you know, you gotta, if you're gonna talk about a crossover list, you've got to talk about the first Accused record, because these guys were doing it way before,
Totally.
a long time before. And these dudes were from Seattle, and they were doing it.
And
way before
again,
a lot
like
of
a
people.
totally unique fucking sound. Nobody will ever sound like The Accused.
And while I'm at it, I just kind of wanted to show this because I wanted to show it off. Comic books. It's Martha Splatterhead comic I got. And this came out with Martha Splatterhead's Greatest Stories Ever Told.
Oh
There
yeah.
it is on the back.
Uh-huh.
So this was kind of a comic, and it comes with a 7-inch as well, a flexi. I just never see, and it just has fucking awesome art in it. I know you guys, some of you guys collect comics too. And you never see this thing. And it was on like an independent label. I got this. It was on Monster Comics. I think they released a lot of the Mr. Monster and stuff like that. But what is it? The Peter Bragg story in that? Yeah. It's great. It's a great comic, man. Killer stories about this.
I love comic books. I haven't read that one.
I just got lucky finding that one time in a bargain bin. Up next, we got this skate punk band, or crossover band, Boneless One, Skate for the Devil. And you can see them up there with their boards and everything. Such a great fucking record, dude. A lot of people have never heard of Boneless Ones, but I mean,
I have it.
Skate for the Devil. I'm a Skater. Pipeline.
I'm gonna check this shit though.
Oh shit, dude. I mean, Jason's a sick song, dude. It's about a guy that ended up dying, but man, dude, check this out. If you like crossover, you like skating, you gotta hear this one. This and Aggression, I think, are
Aggression for sure is
top tiers.
Bones Brigade is a really good fucking skate punk band. They're a little more on the hardcore edge.
Yeah. And then these guys you don't see too often either. Fearless Iranians from Hell. Die for Allah.
That's actually a good album. Fuck yeah.
Great fucking record, dude.
It's because of the name you don't see them. Fearless Iranians from Hell. It's like nobody's gonna fucking be like, I need that.
Yeah, I know. You know, it's kind of an odd name for a band, but
it's actually what drew me into it.
Yeah, I mean,
but I could see how it could be a way that it could be a deterrent.
Yeah, I could see that too. Like, people are like, I'm not gonna buy that, especially for the time it came out. Fearless Iranians ruled damn straight. It's kind of a, you know, I don't know the whole like story behind this band as far as like why they named the band that, or if it's just what they did. It's like kind of on a weird label too. I think it's on Boner.
Boner?
Yeah, it's on Boner Records. Who released they do the verbal abuse as well. But they did a lot of the punk. Yeah, Fang. I don't have Fang on vinyl.
I've heard Fang.
Yeah. Oh, this band. These dudes are from the UK. No, they weren't. Were they? Canada. Adversity. Another band nobody really talks about. Lost It All. These guys came out of the heyday.
Oh, I have heard that album. Yeah, that's a good one.
Heyday of
that fucking album cover's trippy, man.
Yeah, it is. And then you have the back that kind of looks like fantasy, as far as like an Excel or some type of thing. But yeah, this is just straight up fast ripping crossover from Canada.
Yeah, it's fast. It's fucking.
Every song on this is pretty fast. And it came out during like the grindcore, when grindcore was getting popular, so it was kind of an oddball record. I think it came out like 88 or something like that. Yeah, 88. So it was like kind of a late bloomer to the crossover scene. But this is a great record that needs to be heard by a lot of people. Doesn't get enough respect. And then here we go. This is a banger of a record, man.
Final Conflict.
You gotta put Final Conflict.
Final Conflict is fucking sick.
Yeah, dude. Ashes to Ashes.
Pretty hard to define the genre on that.
Yeah, I mean, this is punk, it's thrash, it's crossover. I mean, this album just goes through the gamut as far as like whatever the fuck they want to play. And on Pushmore Records, and then they have like some just sick breakdowns, very political. I think this version comes with like a fucking giant ass booklet too, on kind of like,
hell yeah.
Just like it's almost like a zine, like full like. So Pushmore really put out like the bucks to get this going. But yeah, songs on this, I mean, Crucifixion, Abolish Police, just fucking sick shit. Private War, Constant Fear's a fucking banger, man. Very political, heavy as fuck, just kicks you in the fucking nuts, man. This album. If you like punk or hardcore or crossover, this is the album for you. Great fucking record. Getting down to the bare bones now. Gotta have Septic Death on the
Septic Death.
Gotta have Septic Death. You can't.
I mean, that's another fucking genre. What do you call that genre? It's hardcore, it's fucking crossover, it's thrash, it's
Septic Death were way ahead of their time, man. They're just fast, brutal, just.
They didn't even know what they wanted to be.
Yeah, I think
that fucking artwork is my favorite artist. I mean, that shit.
I think he just went like, I like all this music and I'm going to make it into one band and it's going to be Septic Death. So, and there's very few bands that can do that. He just took, I mean, you got to remember, Pushead was, you know, he was writing for Thrasher at the time, doing his Push Zone series. And I think he was exposed to so much music at the time, and he was into the heavy shit. Like there was other guys that in Thrasher that were really into this kind of music, are into the kind of music that Pushead liked, and I always felt like he was like head and shoulders above those those reviewers. He always was like, "Oh man, I love this. I love the Siege."
I mean, it's probably my favorite artist of all time.
He was just, and he does not get enough credit for his band as an artist. You know, he gets his props. I get that. But yeah, reviews and Maximum. Yeah, his reviews were sick, dude. Maximum Rock and Roll. Him and Chris Dodge, man, they had the best reviews, and they liked the best music in Maximum Rock and Roll. Those guys were way ahead of their time. Last on the list, we got Mace Elimination.
Mace.
This is a weird band, man.
I like Mace. Mace is fucking sick. It's almost like new wave of British heavy metal meets thrash metal meets fucking punk.
Yeah, exactly. You summed it up. All those like genres mixed in to make this band. Doesn't sound like any other like crossover band.
No, it's got too much new wave of British heavy metal infused in there. It's a weird one.
And it's and then they went on. I think the Evil and Good was a great album too.
I like the Evil and Good for
More
sure.
of a crossover. This one's more genre, like mixing.
Ambiguous.
Yeah, it's all over the place on this record, but it's so good. They did a song too on it called "Marching Sacrifice," which is a banger of a song, man. It's not on this record; it's only on that comp. But that song's sick as fuck. Just look at the fucking art. I always love those like Terminator guys. It's a process of elimination. Yeah, check this shit out. I remember they just saw these two records and then they kind of just disappeared. Mace filed under Thrash in my collection. Yeah, I mean it can be.
It could be. I mean, totally. It's a pretty like I said, it's pretty ambiguous. It's got new wave of British heavy metal, punk, and thrash.
Yep. It can go anywhere. But all right, we got a few more
I would
here.
put it in my new wave of British heavy metal, if anything. You could decide yourself.
The first two Prong albums. Oh yeah, Ludichrist, Crumbsuckers, Mordor.
Prong is pretty cool in their early albums. A little bit underrated, actually.
Yeah, I like those first two Prong records. Those are really good.
This is a fucking banger of a track right now.
Leeway, I felt was definitely more hardcore. I put them under hardcore. The vocals were crossover though. Let's talk about this band, Eviction. And
just heard it today.
Who will win?
Badass.
Man, this demo. If you guys haven't heard this demo, this is a fucking badass fucking demo. They put out a record after this, which wasn't as great as this demo. This is Who Will Win. But this demo, man, if you like crossover, and this is like, it's all pro press too.
Nah, that shit's dope. I never heard of it till today, but that shit fucking.
I mean, they look like meddlers, so you know they transition to crossover. I always feel like anybody, Best Wishes, dude. I would have definitely put that. I could easily put that on my list for sure. That's a great fucking record. I just didn't grab it. I should have. Honestly, that's a crossover record. My opinion. But this album, and I don't remember where these guys were from. I've seen a couple people post this. I know Brendan Von Doom is a big Eviction fan, but good shit, dude. All right, let's talk about this. You want to talk about Uncle Slam?
Hell yeah, I want to talk about Uncle Slam. Uncle Slam fucking rules, man. Say uncle. Say uncle.
Got Uncle Slam, another Venice band. And he can't not do crossover. This is a really good album. I mean, yeah, it's definitely inspired by Suicidal. I can
totally. I mean, it's almost like a clone of Suicidal, but yeah, they're dope.
Yeah, and I really like this record.
Will Work for Food, I almost like a little bit more than that one, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a good record. This one for me, though, it does have like, what's the song on there? Dirty Man or Homeless Man?
Yeah.
What's that song called?
I think it is Dirty Man.
Something like that. But it's pretty funny. Not super.
They got a lot of fucking kind of comedic tracks. I mean, they're not the most serious band. for
Pittsburgh.
sure.
Pittsburgh is from Eviction. Okay. Um, but Uncle Slam, yeah, this is good shit, dude. Check this out. That's a good record.
Now, Uncle Slam rules.
All right. We got this one. I don't know where these guys are from. Maybe you can tell me in the comments. Dayglow Abortions. This is.
I'm sure you guys know this. This band's pretty popular, actually,
Here
now.
Today, Lana Tomorrow. I mean, these riffs on this record are pretty fucking good. And this is another band that went from like a kind of a punk band to a metal. I think the Fetus of Fetus